everyone from beautiful Prague in the Czech Republic. My name is Pávek. I take care of content strategy at Livesport, and it is my honor today and my pleasure to show you who we are, what we do, and how we improve and innovate. So let's start with the big one. Who are we? What is Livesport? Livesport is a Czech-based tech company. We were founded by Martin Hájek and Jiří Mareš in 2006 to tech entrepreneurs, to tech fans and sports fans as well, who basically wanted a one-stop shop for all sports results and sports stats and everything important around that. So they made one. It was really that easy. They had big plans to cover all sports around the world, really. So they very quickly started their project with an expanded worldwide, and that's when the Flashscore network was launched. So even if you know us locally by maybe different names, if you're connecting from Italy, maybe you still know us as Diretta, but worldwide we're known as Flashscore, which is how the app is called as well. It was launched in 2013. And just a year later, we became the most visited Livescore project globally. And now the most recent additions are Flashscore News content that I will talk about shortly. That was last year, just before the World Cup in Qatar. And we have very recently exceeded 130 million downloads of our apps. Flashscore itself is a global network of apps and websites. We provide all kinds of sports content. It's from more than 40 countries, or in more than 40 countries specifically. We cover 35 sports, even more than that in some places. Football is number one in most of our apps, most of our markets, except India, where cricket just overtakes everything, of course. But we cover everything from football, hockey, tennis, and the big ones, all the way to local sports, like the one I mentioned in the presentation. That's Pasepalo. If you don't know, that's a sport that's played pretty much only in Finland. Globally, as I mentioned, the app or apps, really, the different language versions and specific market versions are watched by or visited by more than 100 million users per month on average, and the mobile apps were downloaded or have been downloaded more than 130 million times. You probably recognize our brand ambassadors if you are a sports fan yourself. Petr Čech and Petra Kvitova recently. They're both very similar to Livesport and Flashscore, actually. They're both Czech. They're both very successful in their field and respected not only in the Czech Republic, but globally, all around the world. Petr Čech, obviously, legendary goalkeeper for Chelsea and Arsenal, Champions League winner, Premier League winner. And since, I believe, last year, Petra Kvitova is our ambassador, two-time Wimbledon champion. And recently she made her way into the top 10 as far as prize money won all time by tennis players goes. So two very successful people in their brands, in their field, that are connected very closely to Flashscore. One of our mottos really is raising the bar, and we strive to do that as quickly as possible. We make all our data in-house. We track all of that in-house. We don't have any outside providers of data and results. As you can see, there's more than 700 servers, 60 gigabit per second data flow that can handle over 2 million requests per second without any problems. And there's over 650 data administrators who take care of all of that. So we're faster than pretty much any other app or service, when it comes to sports results, especially faster than Then TV, if you're watching a football game on TV, for example, and you have our app open in one of your hands, we're genuinely going to be 30 to 50 seconds faster in telling you what happened when a goal was scored. So our fans and our users know us for this. As you can see on the screen, somebody was watching the game between the Czech team Pilsen and FC Barcelona, and on their TV, it was still 2-1 for Barcelona, but we already knew that it's 3-1, and Ferran Torres just scored. This has led to many running jokes from our users and fans, who often even joke that they should turn us off even when they're visiting the stadiums in person, live, just in case that we're faster than reality itself. Of course, we're not quite there yet. We want to provide the full experience for any fan, especially for the football fans that are really the majority of our users. So as you can see on these examples, you can really have the full experience, not just during the 90 minutes of the match, or longer if it's a different sport, of course. So before the match, you can read an extensive preview that highlights the important parts of the forms of the both clubs. During the match, you can follow the most important events, goals, cards, substitutions, and obviously the live statistics, how they change throughout the game, the shots and the possession, and all of that. And after the match, obviously you still have the overview of the events and the stats, and also you can read a pretty extensive match report that our match reports team can deliver pretty much on the whistle. We also provide audio commentary, so if you don't want to follow the game just by watching the stats change, you can listen to it. You can listen to generally every second of the game if you're a registered user, but it's free for registered users as well. We have audio commentary in 12 languages. We have the technology that our audio commentators can commentate the match pretty much from anywhere in the world, if it can be their living room, a hotel room, or in the best case, the stadium itself. So we're at 29 stadiums currently, including the one that you see on the picture there, which is the beautiful view of PSG's home stadium in Paris. There's over 200 commentators working in those 12 languages to describe every second of the game as good as possible. Recently, and this is pretty much launched this month, so it's very recent, we have added 2 new additions. As you can see in the lineups, we have Flashscore rating, which is sort of an objective rating of the players in the game. I'm saying objective because there isn't a person who ponders who did better and who did worse, but there's over 30 different kinds of statistics and metrics being tracked for every player in many football competitions, and their grade, their rank is calculated automatically from them. And with the addition of, or the introduction really, of new metrics in football and in sports, and with deeper data, we also added the metric of expected goals, or XG. If you're not familiar with this metric and with sort of deep data in football, it's basically also a very objective metric that shows you the quality of chances that the team scored or that the team had during the game. So you can see that in this game, in this example provided, the XG was a little over 2 for Manchester City. So objectively, they should have scored 2 goals, but the reality was a little better for them and a little worse for Bayern Munich. All of this has taken us to second place worldwide, as found out recently by Data.ai's IQ taxonomy. If you can take a closer look at the Dream 11 fantasy sports that's just ahead of us, and CrickBus that's right behind us, you can see that they're both apps specialized only on cricket. So as far as sports and sports news altogether from all different sports, we're the place to go. Recently, a little over half a year ago, we also launched Flashscore News, which is sort of a new wing of our current product, in a way that we want to create a true sports fans homepage, as I like to call it. So I'd like to take a few moments to talk about this new edition that I'm working on very closely. Our long-term vision is a complete sports ecosystem. Right now, you can follow matches and scores in the app. With the addition of content and with the addition of news that are interconnected with the scores world of our app, you read and watch contextual content, that being, previews and reports and news about press conferences and injuries and all of that. But you also shape your opinion with original content, with opinion pieces, with analysis, with podcasts, with interviews with experts. And right there where we drew the line, that's where we are right now. What we're working on currently are number 4 and 5, and that's keeping you always informed with push notifications for the key events that happen throughout the day, and not just results, but also transfers and big stories and big interviews and analysis. And of course, to making the content tailor-made for all fans. If you're a fan using Flashscore and you have, for example, Arsenal tagged as your favorite team, currently you receive notification for all Arsenal goals and results. But with the addition of Flashscore News, you're very soon going to also receive all the Arsenal news as well. Here you can see what markets we cover currently. As you can see, we're pretty good with covering Europe, and also Brazil is our key market. In Europe, I can obviously mention Czech Republic, Slovakia, Germany, the UK, Spain, Italy, France, Denmark, Netherlands, Romania, Poland, and Portugal. And there's also a little note saying global, and that's actually our most visited project. That's flashscore.com, which is available everywhere around the world, no matter if your specific country has its own language version or not, and it's visited from Asia, Africa, the US, and pretty much all corners of the world. Right now, we have 14 news desks that I've mentioned and named. Right now, there's 70 editors and writers working across them. That's just the core team. We also have a few external experts and writers. Each news desk or hub or market, however you want to call it or brand it, publishes around 800 articles per month. So the entire network of 14 publishes well over 10,000 articles per month. The core of our content is obviously agency news. That's where everything is built from. We start with agency news, with informing the fans and users and with the quickest information. But obviously we produce our own content as well, quite a bit of it. And just like us, just like our company, content is very often data-based. We cooperate with a company called 11 Hacks, which is a Czech analytical company that usually works with clubs and leagues. For us, they create sort of data-driven content where they look at matches that can have surprising results that they can see in data, and they look a little closer and at deep data for teams and players. And we also work with a company called Stats Perform, which is well known in the sports world, that helps us visualize those data in graphics, which you can see on the second picture. And the third one, you obviously see a big part that's that's multimedia. We currently have a strategic partnership with the ATP and the WTA, so we can show our fans and our users the most important highlights and the best rallies from tennis tournaments around the world. So what are our advantages when building content from basically 14 different corners of the world? We're a tech company, first and foremost. So thanks to that, our content management system is made in-house, which has many advantages that I see every day. Obviously, it's the instant connection to the already existing network, to the systems that we already have. It's the connection of the scores part and the news part, which means if you go into the detail of a match or a player or a team in the scores world at Flashscore, you can click through to the news, and vice versa. If you visit just the news, and there is news about, for example, Kylian Mbappe, as you can see here, you can, in the text, click on Mbappe's name and get to his statistics. Why I've put this article here 3 times is it's a little fun story about how we quickly and very efficiently share content across these countries, and that's automatic, or rather semi-automatic translation. We have a AI-based translation tool, or AI-powered rather translation tool in our content management system that basically just takes one click and takes an article that's originally written in French and turns it into Portuguese or English or any of these other languages that our news hubs are using. Obviously, it's not all AI. That's why I wrote the word semi-automation, because there's always an editor who has the final word, that reads through the article and edits it, because there's obviously language specifics. To give you a fun example, when you win a tennis set, 6-love, 6-0, in Czech, that's what we call giving somebody a canary. But obviously, that only makes sense in Czech. And if you translate that automatically into English or any other language, people are going to think that you've gone mad. So that's something to watch out for. The long-term goals for us, we obviously see content and the addition of content into our core product, into our main product, as a way to acquire and retain users. We can increase page views and frequency of visits and time spent, and possibly the registration, because as I mentioned, for example, the audio commentary is free, but only for registered users. And we see it as a way to acquire new users that have possibly never heard of Flashscore before, just for the system that we currently have, and maybe they're interested in news, and thanks to the news, they will find out about the entire incredible ecosystem of all sports information that we have. And of course, the business goal of diversifying monetization with banner ads and partnerships that we value. That's pretty much everything from me. I want to thank you for your time and attention for this presentation. If you want to get in touch and talk about Flashscore and Livesport and in general topics about content, I'll be happy to get in touch, and you can scan the little QR code there and find me on LinkedIn. Thank you very much, and enjoy Futurist Expo.